Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel, and I'm doing an angel card reading video for you. The week is Monday the 3rd of December through to Sunday the 9th of December 2018. So a couple of things to know this week. Firstly, excellent news, the Mercury retrograde finishes on December the 6th, which is Friday, I think. So that's great news. It means that we can expect the postal service to run more efficiently, hopefully. Your daily commute is no longer going to be hopefully hopelessly disrupted, and miscommunications won't be happening as much. And miscommunications can happen anytime, but under a Mercury retrograde, of course, they're more likely. And also it covers things like, because Mercury rules the brain, if I can put it like that. So any fuzziness you might have had, particularly if you're a Gemini or a Virgo, because your signs are ruled by Mercury, that should clear up around the 6th. Although some astrologers talk about a pre-shadow and a post-shadow period. So they do say that after Mercury stations direct, you can have some of those kind of symptoms or experiences. But my feeling is the Mercury retrograde happens 3 to 4 times a year. If you're going to factor in the pre-shadow and the post-shadow, we're basically in Mercury retrograde all the year, and I don't want to be thinking about that all year. So anyway, as I mentioned in the previous video, I don't really put much focus on the Mercury retrograde because it's just not worth worrying about, but some of you do, and so you will welcome the news that it is finished. Interesting, also happening that day is a meetup between Mars, the planet of action, and Neptune, the planet of compassion, but also visualization, if I can put it like that. I say meetup, but I mean like they're in an astrologically advantageous alignment, I guess. I always talk in my column about them hooking up, but basically it means they're working together in tandem. So that if you believe in the law of attraction, and I know that comes up a lot in these cards, excellent day for setting goals about things that you want to attract into your life. And, we have the new moon that day. Actually, that's December the 7th. This is happening on December the 7th, not December 6th, but December the 7th is a good day. That's when the alignment happens, and because it's the new moon as well in Sagittarius. So good day for setting goals. New moons are always good days for setting goals, things that you want to achieve. Sagittarius is a sign of optimism, so being optimistic about the future. I mean, setting goals for what you want, obviously that is totally aligned. Sagittarius is also the sign of authenticity, so speaking your truth, going after what is authentic for you, being who you really are, not trying to conform or be someone you're not, someone you've outgrown, etc. It's also the sign of, I mentioned speaking up, but certainly aligned with that authenticity idea is the idea of speaking your truth. And that has been coming up last week in the cards. We had cards around assertiveness and stand your ground, I think. I can't remember exactly. And what else? Sagittarius is also a very worldly sign. So travel, any goals around travel could be good, or around expansion, perhaps even in your business. Expansion in general, actually, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet that expands things. So wherever you want that focus to go. And we have Jupiter in Sagittarius at the moment until next December 2019. So it is a very good time to be focusing on what you want for your future and what you want, what you believe in terms of those goals, really making sure that your beliefs are aligned with what you want. If you want a relationship but you don't believe you deserve it, that's going to be an issue for you. So looking at where your beliefs might be out of whack there, you believe that nothing ever works out for you, that's going to be an issue. Sagittarius is optimism, as I said, so we really want to be positive thinking. Doesn't mean you can't still have a bad day and be in a bad mood, but make sure you're not confusing a bad day for a bad life. That's probably enough time spent talking about that. Let's move on. Monday, the 3rd of December, a card has jumped out, manifestation. So everything I just said about manifesting your goals, it's obviously going to be a week for that kind of big energy. Manifestation is kind of new age shorthand for what you focus on is what you attract. And I know that's very simplistic. There are things that can block you. As I said, your beliefs, if you've got any beliefs around I don't deserve this or nothing ever works out for me, blah, 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 that's not me, universe, I'm just kidding. You know, that can really block you from achieving those goals. But it is asking you to really believe in things that might seem unlikely, but to be positive about them. And make sure you're not in a space where you are waiting for things to happen to you. You are actively working towards them, and it starts with setting those goals, but you've got to take action as well. The universe responds to action. I can't emphasize that enough. Tuesday, the 4th of December. Oh, that was random. Teaching and learning. We had this card, I think last Monday, maybe it was the week before, I forget, sorry, my memory's really bad. Maybe it's Mercury. Teaching and learning. So I explained that if you are looking to learn any, enroll in any courses, do any workshops, classes, read a particular book, maybe study the law of attraction, I don't know, whatever it is, go for it. If you're looking at being a teacher or a tutor, a role model, a mentor, a coach, anything under that kind of umbrella, this is also encouraging you for that. But as I said, with the learning, remembering that we are all students of life can be, I find this really reassuring when I'm going through a challenge, understanding that it's okay if you're not perfect, because no one's perfect. If you were perfect, there would be nothing to learn. So it helps me be patient with myself and to understand that this is necessary for my growth. Whatever I'm going through doesn't mean it isn't still crappy sometimes, but there's a lesson in there for me, and I need to go through that to learn the lesson. And unfortunately, we just don't learn important life lessons through a cruisy life. That's not what we signed up for. It's not what our souls signed up for, although I know it looks particularly attractive when they put it on a lottery commercial, but that's not really how life works. Not that I'm trying to glorify struggle, okay, because a lot of people do that. They glorify the hustle and the struggle, and it's not really what I'm about. Life absolutely can be easy sometimes, and things can flow for you when we're in alignment. That can happen, but we are going to have challenges. That's just the deal with being human. So Wednesday, you are healed. It says the healing you've prayed for is on its way. So this card could be telling you that if there's something you've been working towards, trying to manifest maybe, to be optimistic that will happen, and it's already happening. In fact, the universe is already working on it behind the scenes and was probably doing so before you even asked for it, but even more so now. And for those of you who haven't asked for help, this asks you to do that, because I can't... I probably can't go a single reading without saying this. You need to ask for what you want. The angels cannot intervene in your life without your permission, because you are in charge of your life. So you must ask for help if you need it. But please be optimistic that you can get a good result here. It feels like they're really empowering us this week, which is pretty cool. So Thursday, entrepreneur, love it. The flame on this card is so relevant, because that's when you are an entrepreneur or starting something new, you're really bringing fire or light into a space where it isn't. So the onus is on you to do that. Obviously, the angels will help you, but the card isn't just saying you must start a business. If you are contemplating starting a business, or you're already doing so, this is encouraging you to keep going with that, to follow through with what you set out to do. But it might be just empowering you on a personal level. If you don't want to start a business, that's okay. You don't have to. It's asking you to be more empowered in your approach to your work. It might be being more independent. It might be looking for a way to solve the problem yourself, instead of waiting for moaning about how it's no good working there. Maybe you try and solve the problem yourself, trying to be more, forge a better way to work, so that you are making things happen the way you need them to happen, instead of expecting them to fall into place. So again, that empowerment stuff is really important here. And it might be, maybe some of you need to ask for working from home more often. Maybe that is going to work better for you. It's asking you to look at what you need to do your job better and how you can make that happen. That was... Should we go for... Let's bring in the goddess cards. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, no, those are not right. We'll go with these ones then, saints and angels. Oh, Okay, I've got 2 cards jumping out. So obviously, that's right. Okay. They're kind of connected. So one of them is learning experience. So as I explained with that teaching and learning card, understanding that what you're going through is for your greatest good because there is a learning in that. And I know that sounds overly simplistic to say, you know, it's, you know, some good will come out of this. And to be honest, I don't know about you guys, when I'm going through a challenging time, being told it'll get better or it's necessary can be really annoying and a bit patronizing because it doesn't help me in the immediate moment. It can be helpful to look for the lesson, and particularly if this is a challenge that you keep coming up against. If you keep, you know, finding the people you're dating are not ready for a relationship, if there's a pattern there, that is telling you there's something you need to learn there, and you're doing it wrong, basically, or you need to change tack because things aren't working. And what is the lesson here? How have you contributed to this situation? Not saying you caused it, but in part, something in your energy has helped attract the situation. And what is it that you need to do to fix that, to learn the lesson? And I think some of you, on a sort of slightly different tack, they're saying some of you are on a different path at the moment. Maybe you've started a new job or you've moved to a new place, and they're asking you to be patient with the process. You are learning slower than what you would like, but that's the way it has to be right now. So please try to be patient with the pace at which things are evolving for you, and it's going to be a bit haphazard as you do that. So don't try to learn perfectly. Don't try to be perfect. Understand things are unfolding as they need to, and you are learning something through this process. So be patient with that. The next card is reward. So it's really saying there is going to be a reward at the end of this. And maybe that reward is just learning a lesson so you never attract those types of people again. Or maybe the reward is you're stronger, or I don't know, the reward could be anything. Sometimes this card comes up to remind people to reward themselves, but I feel in this instance, because we've got those messages around empowerment and learning, it's connected with this is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is what you're going to get if you can work through what's going on here. Sometimes with these cards, the best thing to do is to look at the cards around them to make sense of them, and that happens in personal readings a lot. Particularly if it's a card that doesn't give me a lot of information, I need to look at what's around it to help give it some context. Indigo, this comes up all the time. It's about being sensitive, and quite often the people who come to me for readings are empaths. They don't know it necessarily. They might not know the word. If you're watching this, you probably are. That means you're sensitive to energy, and it means you're very spiritually gifted. Everybody has intuition. Everybody has psychic abilities. Most people don't know it. Most people don't care. Most people don't want to know. That's okay. It's their choice. Not everybody is here in this lifetime to develop that ability. But if you've been drawn to watching this video and to learning about this stuff, chances are pretty high that you are. That is your thing. And this asks you to be aware of how that makes you different to other people. Well, different to the mainstream, certainly. There's a massive spiritual community, so you're certainly not alone. But unfortunately, when we start developing our spiritual abilities, when we become more aware of them, it does put us at odds with certain people with certain beliefs. There are things that you will have to move away from when you go down this path. Some people stop eating meat. I stopped watching the news. It was too provoking for me. I'm too sensitive now. I can't look at people in pain and people's suffering and not feel it myself, so I don't watch it. And there are all sorts of ways this could be showing up. It could be asking you to not spend time with someone who's actively provoking you, particularly, and you don't need to be friends with people who are only in line with your beliefs, but if you're spending time with people who are openly dismissive and disparaging of your beliefs, that's going to be a problem. What else is indigo about? Now, an indigo child is a term that's used in New Age kind of literature. It refers to a child or an adult child, if we can put it like that. So if you're a parent of an adult child, this could be speaking to one of your grown kids, telling you to honour their sensitivity. Don't try and force them to be something they're not. Don't try and force them to go down a particular socially accepted or social convention path. Allow them to be who they need to be. Don't dismiss their ideas. Don't tell them if you've got kids who are talking to people in the room that you can't see, don't tell them that they've made it up or anything like that. We all had imaginary friends as children, and a lot of people in the spiritual community believe those were actually spirit guides. So, try not to tell them they're making it up. What other sorts of things come up with sensitivity? Yeah, it's about choices that you make in terms of honouring your sensitivity. Try to be okay with being different. That's the main thing that comes up with this. If you don't relate to what I'm saying about being an empath or spiritually aware, try to honour the ways that you are different. Don't feel compelled to wear the latest trends if you just don't care about fashion. Try not to feel compelled to defend your life choices if you are around, say, the older generation or people in the older generation who, believe that a woman should have had 50 children by now or whatever it is. Try to be okay with being yourself and don't feel like you need to defend yourself all the time. If people don't understand, they don't understand, and that's okay. But don't pretend to be something you're not. And I spoke about authenticity. So that's relevant. Where do I go here? We'll go with Michael's energy to finish the week. New beginnings and a fresh start. I love, love, love this card because it's so optimistic. It speaks of a positive future, and I've spoken about optimism already in this reading, so that's so on point. And it also speaks to understanding that although it's painful sometimes letting go of things that aren't working, there is a reward at the end of that in terms of something better is coming. Doors close so that new ones can open. I know it's such a cliche, but often things are cliches because they're true. And that is why they're repeated so often, So please remember, good things are ahead for you. We're always moving towards good things. Sometimes we have to go through challenges to get there. Sometimes the challenges come up because we've put out resistance because there is something in our energy that needs to be healed. But really just try and look forward to the new things ahead that can be provided by new opportunities, whatever that might look like to you. It might mean, very big things like new jobs, new relationships, new locations, or it might be more subtle, like a new way of living, like maybe you're embarking on a new exercise and health plan or something like that. Being optimistic and patient with the process, remembering you're a student, you're still learning, we're all trying to figure this out, but knowing that there's something good at the end of it and that it's necessary for your growth, I think can be really helpful. I've forgotten a card. Where does this go? Indigo. I think that goes in here. Oh, that's probably wrong. Oh well. Who cares about the weekend? So those are the cards for the week. This idea about manifesting is pretty strong in terms of I really did do this quite weirdly. You can only see a portion of the cards. Okay. So setting our goals and focusing on what we want, being optimistic about the future, such a Sagittarian trait there. Sagittarians are often accused of having rose-tinted glasses, being, deluded in their optimism. You don't want to go to that extreme. You want to be optimistic, but also, you don't want to be pretending things are perfect when they're not. You don't want to be wallpapering over mouldy walls, if I can put it like that. So with optimism, sometimes people think it means they need to pretend things are wonderful when they're not, and that's so damaging. Unpleasant emotions are there for a reason. You need to acknowledge them and express them. If you try and suppress them, it's all bad. It'll come up in some way, and you'll be blocked. Really empowering kind of messages come through, and this idea about being students is very strong. Understanding that challenges are necessary and being patient as you go through those, and they want to empower you to go through them, and knowing that there's something worth it. It's worth it for your growth. It's for your highest and your greatest good. So try and hold on to that. Thank you very much for watching. That's it for the week, and what do I need to tell you? These will be on my social media, as always. I tell you that every week. But for those of you who are new to these videos, my Instagram is @OneGroundedAngel, and my Facebook page is OneGroundedAngel. If you have questions, comments, or you need a personal reading, best thing to do is to contact me via my website, www.onegroundedangel.com, and you can find a lot of information about angel cards and the angel card reading process there. It is a time of year a lot of people are looking to set goals, are reviewing the year. That didn't go so well. I get a lot of bookings over the Christmas period. I am still working, by the way, in case you were wondering, except for the public holidays, of course. So, it's a good time to do that if that's something that you're thinking about. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to reading for you again next week. Take care.